What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel, and as always, happy Friday. Today we're back for another episode of the Inner Sea Region, a 5-minute tour. Today we're going to talk about the Sodden Lands. As always, this channel is brought to you by patronage, and as always, patronage is the #1 way to see this channel grow, expand, and be able to cover all things awesome. If you'd be interested in supporting this channel and getting cool stuff in return, the link is in the description. But today, this episode of the Inner Sea Region, a 5-minute tour, was brought to you in part by Joseph Arvilla. Joe, as always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your support. It means the world to me. Now let's dive in. Now I notice I say let's dive in before I start any of my videos. With the Sodden Lands, that becomes a little ironic, as the Sodden Lands were previously a pair of now lost kingdoms, which were destroyed by the formation of the Eye of Abendigo in 4606 AR. That, of course, being the vicious permanent hurricane located in the southern Arcadian Ocean off the western coast of Garund. Present day, it is a land constantly battered by storms and largely flooded with only a few isolated pockets of civilization. Once upon a time, two powerful but very different civilizations flourished here, Lyrgan and Yamasa. Lyrgan was the northernmost of these two civilizations, ruled by the Seac Brethren, astrologers obsessed with prophecy and the stars, and much like everyone else, they were caught by surprise when Eredin died in 4606 AR, and subsequently the Eye of Abendigo was formed. Not only was Lyrgan battered by the massive hurricane that had formed only a few dozen miles off their coast, but all the teachings in which the Seac Brethren had put their faith in were proven wrong. The inhabitants of Yamasa fared even worse than the people of Lyrgan. The land of Yamasa was always considered somewhat primitive, especially when compared to the more powerful nations that had grown up in Garund. Think ancient Osirion, Nex, Geb, all those giant empires that have been running around. Yamasa can't compare to them. The first wave hit without warning, but it appears that even afterwards, the people of Yamasa refused to evacuate. For a long time, people thought that the entire nation had been destroyed, but the explorers who ventured into the Sodden Lands and into Yamasa began to encounter survivors. Those survivors being the Koboto, who today have broken their ancient tribal taboos and engage in cannibalism and necromancy, somehow managing to exist amidst a land battered by constant storms. Now, of course, one asks themselves, why would anyone want to live in this place with a giant storm constantly battering the coast? Well, the region's boggard population, once limited to one of Lyrgan's 3 salt marshes, was able to expand greatly following the advent of the Eye of Abendigo and now dominate the northern part of the Sodden Lands. The boggards believe that the Eye has a connection to Rovagug, the god of destruction, and within a year of its appearance, they had abandoned their traditional worship of Gogunta and adopted Rovagug as their deity. Some of the boggards that rule the tribes of the area are directly descended from demons, and a few of them are actual Hezru. The boggards continue to breed at a great rate, but their constant infighting has so far managed to keep them from becoming a major threat to their neighbors. On the other side of that good and evil coin, Galerions Gripply also have migrated to the Sodden Lands with the rise of the Angizan worshipping Charuka in the Mwangi Expanse. The southern part of the Sodden Lands is dominated by lizard folk who we talked about this last Monday. They live in small villages, each led by a warrior king or shaman, normally for mechanical reasons a druid or oracle. Unlike the bickering boggards to the north, these guys traditionally support their neighbors in times of trouble. However, recently an aggressive group of kings known as the Turwa Lords have been building up their own strength at the expense of the more peaceful lizardfolk tribes. And in addition, lizardfolk have also been attacking the Shackles settlement of Naruma, which is built on traditional lizardfolk breeding grounds. It goes on even farther here. We've got marsh giants that worship Dagon, shambling mounds inspired by a shambling mound druid. Yeah, that sounds scary. Looters that worship Norgaber, tribes reduced to cannibalism. The whole place is kind of just a giant swampy mess. This, of course, I guess, is to be expected when a very powerful god gets struck down. The intensity of the eye is variable, yet at its weakest, it can tear the sails off the biggest ships in Galerion. At its strongest, the wind alone can blow a large vessel into splinters. The eye periodically spawns smaller storms that travel up and down the Gurundi coast, bringing torrential rain and hurricane-speed winds to the outlying regions. As we said, the Boggards believe that the formation of the Eye of Abednego is connected to Rovagug, but a splinter cult of Gazra known as the Stormkindlers believe that the eye was a manifestation of their deity. The place is bleak, the place is wet, the place is, well, sodden, and in general, though we don't really have it screamed at us as much as we do in Avestan with the World Wound, this is kind of what I see as that high level end point. If nothing else, you'll get to teach your party all about the dangers of marsh terrain and high winds. Good luck for anybody with a fly speed. It's actually kind of ironic that the Gripply live here, because I remember at one point in my GMing career, I put a party in a sandstorm, and the party's half-elf paladin, human blood rager, who has kind of grown to be something of legend within our local adventuring groups, Kitsune Bard, human arcanist, were just fine for the most part, able to withstand the winds, but the poor little Gripply, who's teeny tiny itsy bitsy, was sent flying at the intensity of the winds of the sandstorm. So yeah, hurricane force winds, not fun for the little guys, really not fun for anybody with a low strength score. But I don't need to wax nostalgic all over these things, as that is neither here nor there. What do you guys think about the Sodden Lands? Have you ever adventured here? If so, throw it in the comments below, because I'd love to hear more about this place, because, hurricane apocalypses are always super fun. If you've got anything else to say, as always, throw it in the comments below, and we'll keep the conversation going. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos. The next episode of the Inner Sea Region, a 5-minute tour, drops next Friday.